Yeah, fill it out. Make it look like there's hundreds. That's kind of the point. Come on, yeah. It's turned on. It's turned off right now.
Okay, it's working now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much to everyone who's come out. I know it's really cold and it's snowing, so I really appreciate everyone who's here. So just want to say good morning again. As everyone knows, we are all here today to continue the collective call to drop the charges and tickets against people criminalized for defending people's housing. Throughout the summer, the city and police violently evicted people living in 3 Toronto public parks. Cities across the province of Ontario, such as Hamilton and Kitchener, continue to criminalize and bulldoze people who are living outside and their supporters instead of addressing and finding real solutions to housing and related crises. Nearly 50 people were arrested as they protested the city's action this past summer.
Shame!
But through pressure, only 10 people remain criminally charged. But we continue to face serious charges of assault and obstruction against the police, while the city and no officer stands charged for the violence inflicted on unhoused people and their supporters throughout these protests. People continue to stand united to fight the criminalization of unhoused people and protesting, calling for charges and tickets to be dropped and demanding that all levels of government commit to providing an actual real solution for housing. People today are here to share their stories of arrest and brutality and remind us all of why people were out and why we must stay committed to these campaigns. With this, I'm going to introduce our first speaker, Jason Lee Hoy, a community organizer in Malton and someone who continues to face charges for protesting police violence.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming out today to show resistance, not only in this city, but across the country, of the people who are showing resistance and standing up for their rights. Just want to go back a little bit to the story of 14th Division, my story. That day I saw like a lot of police being very violent towards the public and towards community members in the parks. I took it upon myself to attend what was happening, the unjust that was happening. When I got there, I saw police officers breaking their line, coming up to the public and punching a girl in her face, starting what was the most violent arrest ever seen in Toronto after the G20. People around the city, not only in Toronto, but a couple days ago in Hamilton, they showed the same violence and the same disrespect of human rights by arresting and hurting violently the public. We will stand for no more. This is our resistance. We will stand together in solidarity with the rest of the country who are facing and who are fighting resistance. Our Indigenous brothers and sisters are being faced with the same unjust They raped and they killed the people of this land. They kill kids and they continue to oppress the people. But we will not stand for this. That's why we're here today. We're here to show that we're here in solidarity with the rest of the country who are fighting against the oppression, against the unjust. The amount of money they used to clear out the encampments, they could have used that to make permanent housing for each and every one of people who they cleared out, but they refused to. In other means, they arrested and they assaulted people who were standing up for the rights of these people, of our neighbors, of our brothers, of our sisters, of our uncles, our grandfathers. Even babies were there getting pepper sprayed in their face. Shame on them. They are the new criminals. And the state continues to protect them and to condole this. But we're here today to say that there's no more. We will continue to stand up and they will not crush the resistance. They will not crush the resistance. We'll be stronger. No matter how much bones they break, how much pepper spray, and how much they take us to jail. We will continue and we will come out even stronger. I just want to give the mic to my comrade here.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you. How's this working? Proud to stand here with you, Jason. Thank you very much. So further to what Jason was talking about, even though this is the first time I've spoken in public in 3 years, and since I'm proud to stand here, I'm about to talk about what I'm not proud about. Hi, I'm Richard.
Closer to your face!
I'm Richard. You may have met me at Defund the Police events in front of police headquarters, or any number of other actions over the last 3 years. As we've all seen, these pandemic times are ripe for social change, something I've desired for most of my life, never imagining that I would or could be part of it. For decades, I was a basic science researcher, hardly involved in anything else. Nevertheless, I've always listened to and believed victims. At the center of almost every story told me by victims are the police. Stories of aggressive and violent dispossession of women, Indigenous people, and those in poverty. These stories are the truth about Canada. In Canada, violent repression of poor and marginalized folk is systemic. A system designed to preserve and enhance the privilege of original settler families. Families like those of John Tory and Justin Trudeau, and though less privileged, also families like mine. I recognize that policing in Canada serves those families, that it supports, it protects, and it enforces the systemic exploitation of the people and the land. Despite attempts to graft human and constitutional rights into policing, the role of policing in Canada remains effectively unchanged since its founding. As part of that policing, I was snatched off the street without warning. I was walking with a mother and child, and they threw me up against a brick wall and dragged me into an SUV. That happened minutes after a press conference similar to this one. That press conference was called to denounce the city's violent evictions of unhoused people from their homes. The arresting officers made it clear that I was targeted as part of their actions at Lamport Stadium. Inside the jail, I was told by detectives that I'd injured an officer with a deadly weapon. It was a very hot day. I had one of these. And they showed me a picture of a person. Holding one of these. And they called it a deadly weapon. That's one of the reasons I'm here today. Because in no way did their undertaking seem to fit the reality of that day. The mystery for me of why they thought I'd done something wrong became clear after I was taken to a special interview room. There, yet another detective made it clear that everything was off the record, meaning, as I took it, that whatever he said, there'd be no recording. And he said a lot of things, to which I hardly answered at all. But things he did say amounted to threats against me, my family, my friends, everyone outside the police station. He got frustrated, and a couple of times he asked me, why can't we just have a conversation? To which I answered by holding up my manacled hands and pointing to the locked door. He finally let me go when I realized and asked him, is this even legal? And he stopped talking and he took me out. They sent me back to the jail cell. I was left wondering why I'd even been arrested. However, after my release, I found a video statement from Toronto Police that explained to me, with a close reading, why they were doing it and what they were after. Unknown to me inside jail, within an hour of being slammed into the brick wall and dragged into the SUV, the superintendent of 14 Division announced my arrest and a list of others that were wanted for charges that arose from the defense of people living in Lamport Stadium Park. The video is instructive. It claims that violent arrests made by Toronto police officers were to enforce the city's trespass notices. Police use these non-criminal charges to, as you can see in numerous photos and videos, to violently arrest people and basically beat whoever they wanted for whatever reasons they had. They continued in that video to explain their side of the story, that we gathered in huge numbers and scared them and threatened them and assaulted them as if it was organized. You can see all this on the video. He even went so far as to repeat some of the outrageous claims first heard from U.S. President Trump. Words like throwing projectiles at officers such as soup cans, for which, of course, there's no evidence. Finally, in his video, he characterizes everyone charged by police as a result of their actions as people who think they can commit a crime and get away with it. And he also said that Toronto Police can and will arrest and charge you. He didn't say they can convict us. So as you can imagine, this whole process, this whole police conspiracy is intimidation. This is how it's done. This is how they intimidate us. They are after the criminalization of dissent. This is how it's done. They are also normalizing their violence. Until the media gets on board with us, and I thank you very much for being here, until our society realizes how much violence is being done to how many people, it will become more and more normalized. So today, I'm asking you to stand in solidarity with us all against the false narrative conjured from the darkest reaches of the dangerous fantasies of police culture, a culture of repression and genocide from its earliest beginnings. Stand with us and stand with our native allies defending land and water. The Wet'suwet'en, those at 1492 Landback Lane, and everyone peacefully protesting the exploitation, the violence, and the genocide upon which Canada is built. Come with us to bail court to challenge the conditions literally made up by police in 14 Division. Conditions designed to prevent anyone from ever challenging their authority to do whatever violence they wish against anyone they choose, for whatever reasons police may imagine. Do this and we can defund, disarm, dismantle, and abolish the poisoned culture of policing in this city, this province, and this country. Yeah! Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. That was, a lot, and that was great. Hi, sorry if I'm a bit jittery. I've never done any kind of public speaking like this, but my name's Devin. I'm just here to talk about my story. I was arrested on the day of the Trinity Bellwoods encampment evictions. I had showed up